Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Exploring Atlanta. My name is Rebecca. If you're new, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. I really do appreciate it. I am here on Auburn Avenue downtown in what is referred to as the Sweet Auburn District. Now, Auburn Avenue is a significant historical landmark known for its rich African American heritage, its cultural and spiritual center before the Civil Rights Movement. Now, in today's video, we're going to take a walk down Auburn Avenue and explore some of the Black-owned businesses, churches, entertainment venues, and historical sites from the Apex Museum all the way down to the King Center. Now, if you're enjoying the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel because it helps us to grow and bring more videos like this. Now, come along and walk with me. And this is where Auburn Avenue starts at Park Place downtown across from Woodruff Park. Now, dating back to the years after the Civil War, Auburn Avenue was a center of Atlanta's Black community. Businesses and institutions that served the Black community, such as Royal Peacock Nightclub and Big Bethel Church, could be found on Auburn Avenue and its surrounding streets. And we will pass many of these establishments along the way as we get into the heart of the Sweet Auburn District. Now, if you live in Atlanta, you've probably heard of the Sweet Auburn Music Festival, but for those of you who have not, it is a large annual festival that's held here on Auburn Avenue each year. The 2025 festival is planned for September the 27th and 28th. Now, it's known for its blend of music, fun, and culture, and it is considered a family-friendly event. The festival is free to attend, and the purpose of the festival is to restore Auburn Avenue's prominence and showcase the history and achievement of Atlanta's Black Americans. All right, and there you can see we're approaching this sign that says King Historic District that we are on our way down to. And as we move along, this building coming up at the light, this red brick building, is Auburn Avenue Research Library on African American Culture and History. And this library opened in 1994. Is the first library in the Southeast to offer specialized reference and archive collections for the study and research of African American culture and history and other people of African descent. And as we get closer here, I'm going to cross the street so that we can get a better view of it. It went through a major renovation between 2014 and 2016. And this library is open to the public. It's part of the Fulton County Public Library System. And there you see the Georgia State University building there on your left-hand side. And we're just going to cross over. Okay, I'll just pan around and give you a full view of Auburn Avenue Research Library on African American culture and history there. Okay. All right, and we will just continue down Auburn Avenue. Georgia State on the left there. It is getting warm out here. And of course, there's the library. And coming up here, it says Herndon Plaza. Now, the Herndon name was prominent in the Black Atlanta community in the late 1800s and even today. Alonzo Herndon was a local entrepreneur and businessman. He was born into slavery in 1858 in Social Circle, Georgia, and became the first African American millionaire in Atlanta, and actually one of only a few African American millionaires in the country. He first achieved success by owning and operating 3 large barbershops here in the city that served prominent white men during segregation and Jim Crow. He invested in real estate and founded the Atlanta Life Insurance Company. And his family, the residence of his family, was made into Herndon Home Museum, located in the Vine City neighborhood just adjacent to Morris Brown College. Okay, so we are going to continue, and I'm going to cross the street and walk over to the Apex Museum here. And this Apex Museum is Atlanta's first and oldest Black History Museum. It was established in 1978 right here in the heart of this historic Auburn Avenue district. So if you want to learn about Black history as experienced and presented by Black people, you'll want to place this Apex Museum on your must-list attraction for tourism. And we're just going to pan around here. Such rich and steep history. This museum, Apex Museum. Okay, so we are going to continue down Auburn Avenue. The large building on the left with the white columns was the Atlanta Life Insurance Company location from 1920 to 1980, and it has remained vacant for 45 years as we span back here to the museum. We'll get closer to it and I'll show a better shot of it. Now in front of us we see that sign, green sign there. It says Atlanta Daily World Building. This was the location for the Atlanta Daily World newspaper, the oldest and longest running African American newspaper in Atlanta. Now unfortunately the building was one of the near casualties that was left in the aftermath of the catastrophic tornado that hit the downtown area in 2008. And the newspaper was forced to move to the airport office complex, and the family sold the building to a local Atlanta developer. This Atlanta Daily World building was actually built in 1912. Atlanta Life Insurance Company. The boarded windows display the names and faces of the people who built this building here at its original location. And there you see the Thomas W. Dortch Jr. Center. Thomas was an influential business icon and civic leader. This building is headquarters to 100 Black Men of America, an organization recognized as the top African American-led mentoring organization, and is dedicated to improving the quality of life for African Americans. Thomas became chairman emeritus after serving as its national chair for 6 terms. He died in 2023 at the age of 72 after being diagnosed with cancer. And we are approaching Auburn Avenue in Piedmont here. And across the street in front of us, we have the John H. Calhoun Park. And this small park commemorates one of Auburn Avenue's leading businessmen and civil rights leaders. He was a realtor, a politician, and a local leader of the NAACP during the 1940s and 1950s. And he was an active member of the Republican Party, and he's remembered for his work on increasing African American voting participation. Okay. And across the street here, we have some restaurants in this building. Pizza and soul food restaurant. And this building on the left-hand side coming up is the Royal Peacock Lounge. It was originally opened in the 1940s and was at the center of the Auburn Avenue cultural hotspots. It was built in 1920. It's just a small, assuming 2-story brick building, but it was the hub of black art, entertainment, and nightlife for nearly 100 years, and is still open today as a reggae and hip-hop club. And it looks better at night when the lights are on and you can actually see it illuminated. And coming up here on the left-hand side, we have Big Bethel AME Church. It was founded in 1847 and has served as a staple in the African American community for generations. And there you'll also see some businesses and some vacant buildings.
I'm working.
And as I stated, Big Bethel has been prominent in the black community here in Atlanta. In 1879, the first public school for blacks, called Gate City Colored School, was founded in the basement of Big Bethel. And Morris Brown College held its first classes in the church in 1881 before moving to its first campus. Many prominent speakers have spoken here. In 1911, President William Taft spoke at the church, as did Nelson Mandela in 1990. And as I said, the black church has always been a strong pillar in the black community. And that red building next to the church is Old Fellows Building and Auditorium. And I will talk more about that as we get closer. It's a huge church there. They don't build them like that anymore. Old Fellows Building and Auditorium was originally constructed in 1912. Booker T. Washington presented the dedication of the building when it opened, and it immediately became the center for African American entertainment. It was the only movie house in Atlanta where African Americans could be seated on the main floor, called Bailey's Royal Theater. Here we are at Auburn Avenue and Jesse Hill Drive, where there is a 70-foot high mural of the civil rights icon John Lewis. He served 17 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. In 2019, he announced that he had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He died in 2020 at the age of 80. The brick building next to the mural of John Lewis is the Butler Street YMCA that dates back to 1894 when the association was finalized. And for decades, the building, it wasn't just a place for recreation and community, but it was also a place for civic engagement for the black community. Now it is temporarily closed, and as you can see, there's work underway to revitalize this historic area of Sweet Auburn. And as I mentioned earlier, this Old Fellows Building and Auditorium here was originally constructed in 1812, and it became the center for African American entertainment. There was a rooftop garden to dine and dance in an elegant atmosphere. You had people like Count Basie and Lionel Hampton who often performed here. And Dr. King frequently held meetings in this building. In 1975, it was added to the National Register of Historic Places. And as you can see, it has undergone recent renovations and is now headquarters building for Georgia Works, and it provides transitional housing. And coming up here on the corner, we have Pal's Lounge. It's called Pal's Lounge. It is a restaurant and cocktail lounge that features live jazz and blues performances. And in the late 1800s, it was the first black-owned hotel in Atlanta and the early offices for the Atlanta Life Insurance Building. And across the street there, we have a restaurant, Elysium, I believe it's called, House of Elysium. It's a restaurant. And we are about to enter a stretch beneath the I-75 overpass. And as we enter, you will see these lighted signs on the top of the overpass there. It has the names of some of Sweet Auburn's historic black-owned businesses and institutions. And there we have the streetcar. And on the wall here to my left are photos of the culture and history of the Sweet Auburn District. I'm trying to see if I can read those signs. It looks like some funeral home. What does that say? Cox Brothers Funeral Home. I think we're going to pass that. Fire Station 1. Ebenezer Baptist Church. Okay. That's interesting. It's cool too. Let's just pan around here a little bit. We're here at Auburn and 4th Street. Now, across the street there to our right is John Wesley Dobbs Plaza, and it is a tribute to John Wesley Dobbs, who was born in 1882 and was a prominent civil and political leader here in Atlanta. And Sweet Auburn Kitchen there. And John Wesley Dobbs was often referred to as the unofficial mayor of Auburn Avenue, and he was the one who actually coined the name Sweet Auburn. Businesses on our left and right here. SCLC. Have coming up here, you can see at the end of the block that sign, Prince Hall Masonic Temple, which was the headquarters for SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And all of this is on the renovation, so there's a lot of revitalization projects going on in this area, which is good to see. Going to turn the corner here on Hilliard Street and head toward Madam C.J. Walker Museum. And as we cross the street here, Madam C.J. Walker was actually born as Sarah Breedlove in 1867, just 2 years after slavery was officially abolished in America. Now, she is recorded as the first self-made female millionaire in America, despite Jim Crow oppression. And she built a thriving business empire by developing a successful line of hair care products for Black women and training programs for beauticians. You see it there. She never lived in Atlanta, but she established a chain of franchise beauty shops across the country, including one here in Atlanta that you see there. And the beauty shop there was transformed into a museum that serves as the place to learn about Madam C.J. Walker's life, business, and philanthropy. All right, as you can see, there is a lot to see here on Auburn Avenue. here in front of us on the right-hand side, we see Wheat Street Baptist Church, another historic black church in the Sweet Auburn neighborhood. It was founded in 1869, and the church building was actually constructed in 1921. And other businesses and restaurants and what have you on the left-hand side. And coming up here in front of me, there is a sign that says Hoggebrooks. That is Hoggebrooks Funeral Home. And as we make our way past Hoggebrooks Funeral Home, at the end of the block we are going to come upon Cox Brothers Funeral Home. It played a huge role in Atlanta's black community. Cox Brothers Funeral Home did. It was around 1900 that it was opened by a mother and two sons. It moved to this particular location at the end of the block here in 1940. And it helped black families bury their loved ones during Jim Crow segregation. It was a place to honor victims of lynchings, pay last respects to civil rights leader, and bury black bodies when no one else would. It closed in 2019 and sold to a nonprofit developer. And you see it boarded up here. And it was damaged by fire in 2023. As you can see there from the soot and boarded windows and doors. We are entering the King Historic District. And ahead on our right, at the light, we have Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. co-pastored with his father from 1960 to his assassination in 1968. And since 2005, the church has been pastored by United States Senator Raphael Warnock. And the church has expanded over the years and is located in this area designated as the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Park. Okay, we're just going to continue down Auburn Avenue here in the King Historic District, and I will do a separate video of this entire King Historic National Park, but today we're just going to stay on Auburn Avenue and pan around and see some of the views of the Martin Luther King Jr. Center. And across this way there you can see this crypt there. It'll come into view better. Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Nonviolent Social Change. Historic park there. there's the eternal flame. I don't know if my camera catches it or not, but there's the eternal flame. And as you're walking down the street, you can't hear it because it's muted on this video. But let me pan back around here. This building here, brick building, there is a loudspeakers where there's a narration of the Martin Luther King Center here, and you see the grave crypts over there and the flames, the eternal flame. But yeah, there is narration as you walk down the street. Of the history and culture of the Martin Luther King Jr. Center, his life and legacy. I look forward to coming back and actually touring this entire area. That is interesting. I never seen that before, where you just walking down the street and getting the history of a particular attraction. Okay, legacy. I don't know what that is exactly. Let's turn back across the street here. There you see the water there. The crypt is not in sight here. Okay, but we're not going to branch off. We're going to continue down the street here to the birth home of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm just going to cross the street here once I get a go-ahead light. So we are just going to make our way down to the birth home of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And the homes on this street. These homes are very close. I don't think I've seen any houses this close before, these 4 square homes. I've seen a lot of close homes, but I don't think I've ever seen any this close before. You can just stretch out your hand and between the houses and touch. That's interesting. But of course, I grew up in the country where you had nothing but land. Right, I'm crossing the street because Dr. King's home is on the right-hand side, and I want to get a full view of it. and you can see it there coming up with the tan and black trim there. It's gated. It is closed under renovation, and I believe it's supposed to open sometime later this year. Yeah. I've never been there before, so I'm looking forward to it once it gets renovated. But that is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth home. And I don't think there's anything else down here to see, other four-square homes in the neighborhood. So we're just going to stop right here. Okay, so our last stop on our tour of the Sweet Auburn District is the Municipal Market. Now, it is not on Auburn Avenue. It is actually a block over on Edgewood Avenue, but it is part of the Sweet Auburn District. Okay, so I'm just going to get my turmeric and do a quick walkthrough for you.
Okay, so that's going to wrap up today's tour of the sweet Auburn Avenue district. I've got to get some air conditioning. It is hot out here. But I do hope that you enjoyed the experience as much as I did. Now, I will be back again next week with another episode. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell to receive an alert each time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.